segment of the tourism industry, which was for the inbound players. Some discussion has been happening. We should involve adventure, we should involve domestic. And surprisingly, all those segments are already our members, but we are predominantly an association meant for those in the business of inbound tourism. We respect the space of all our other colleagues in the industry with the other associations, and we work as a team across the year with them, and we're very proud of that. I quite like this saying that Henry Ford said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. And I am proud to be a part of this team which has worked really hard as collectively in the last 2 years. We've had some great successes, we've had some misses, but I guess that's a part of the game. But overall, I think we are quite satisfied with the work that was done. There's been a lot of talk recently about big companies, nothing going on in IATO for the small companies, and I myself was a little puzzled about that. It is a statistical fact that barely 3% of IATO members in the tour operator segment have a turnover above 50 crores. Our majority of the members are small and medium players, and everything we have ever done as an association has been simply for them. In fact, the larger companies, I would say any company above 20 crores gets absolutely no benefits from the ministry whatsoever. So everything that IATO and the government has done has been for the small and medium players, and that has always been the mandate that we have had. When we looked at creating our team, and there's been talk, why create a team? There's no need to create a team, but there is need to create cohesiveness, unanimity, one voice. And that we discovered learning from our previous office bearers over the years between different associations, that if you come in as a collective body, you're likely to operate better. In our opinion, IATO today has become a fairly efficient machine working around the clock. Yes, I am going to say we can improve on certain things, but we have come a long way. IATO needs efficient managers. We need people, and I am going to email this to everybody later on, but we need people who are aware of global best practices, who understand what international marketing is, who understand how the world is doing in business, who understand what trends the foreign tour operators are doing. We need people who have successfully run their businesses. And why I say that, because if you don't have a business, if you don't have some turnover, if you don't have an understanding how business is done, how can you effectively lead your association? It is a fact that people, hotels and suppliers and the government will deal with you if they have respect for you on your personal level and professional level. And that's what associations do. They bring in people with credibility, and I am proud that each one of our members today has that credibility. We are fresh faces, we are a fairly young team. No, none of us have been sitting around for years and years in IATO, and I think that's very critical. There's been talk we should have term limits, absolutely, and we do. You can only be a person in that position for 4 years, and the Constitution is designed for that. We do not have any desire, of course, to hold power. None of us have ever used IATO for our own personal gain. We are a very healthy mix of small, medium, and medium to large companies. There is no blocking of anybody by a large company or a small company, and that healthy mix allows us to understand the business better. And I think it's important to understand that IATO is no longer what it was 4 years ago, 8 years ago. We don't need people who know how to run the IATO office. We don't need people who know how to make sure that attendance is done and purchasing is done. We need people who are multi-skilled. When I look at Pranab, who was our last secretary, and I asked him, put his hand on his heart, where did he spend more time, doing secretary's work or non-secretary's work? And he will tell you all the time he has spent on the e-visa, on the taxation, on all other industry issues. We need people who are multi-skilled, and that's why at least each one of the 6 office bearers have been chosen for their ability to fill in any meeting. When I look at Ravi, who was the joint secretary, he spent a lot of time over the last 1 year on the road shows, on the marketing, to back me up in my role as vice president. So each one of us is able to do something different, and I think that is the skill set you need to evaluate. Can that person do more than one role in your association, or just what the Constitution says? As far as we're concerned, this team has never looked who is president, who is vice president, who's senior vice president. Whoever was able to fulfill the skills, they went. Mr. Mehra covered everything of aviation. Raj covered everything about railways. It wasn't about position. It was about who knew how to do the job. People ask, but we don't see EATO all the time. They're quiet. EATO has two types of roles. Things that are facing you as the members, things that we act upon with you, and things that are going on behind the scenes with the government. We attend as an association an average of about 4 meetings a week between the ministry, states, associations. And that is a lot of time for your office bearers and your EC members to spend. That's why, again, I say it's important that all the EC members, all 14 of us are equally equipped to attend any meeting so that we can spread ourselves and attend all these 4 meetings plus multiply into 52 weeks a year, which is quite a volume. I'm going to quickly go over some of the key achievements we had over the last 2 years. One, of course, was the e-visa. This was a total game changer, 150 countries. Is the system perfect? No. Does it need improvement? Yes. But the fact that we are today able to allow many of our source markets to come to India by applying online, and most of the people are getting it in a day, is quite an achievement for us as a larger industry. The MDA scheme is something which was overhauled. We got stuck with the stupid growth criteria, which has been softened. For the first time ever, the MDA scheme now gives you the ability to include your hotel stay, which you could not do before. And I think what we try to do is to include more things in it so that you can get more benefit. The ticket and the exhibition alone did not cover the 2 lakh, and even the limit was increased. So we have got hotel stay included, which is quite a game changer as well. We worked very aggressively against the biometrics in all regions, especially the France and the UK. And it's only due to the EATO effort we were able to overturn it. As far as the MEA was concerned, they didn't care. We bought the machines across the world. We're implementing it. It took a lot of work of your industry to make it happen. We also worked with Air India to get the free baggage allowance increased from 50 to 25 kilos. That has resulted in a lot of business move from other airlines to Air India. Service tax was taken off business going to SAARC countries, which again was an uphill task. And also for those of you who are not familiar with the former SFIS scheme, Served from India scheme, and now SEIS scheme, please take a look. Under the new rules, from 1st of April, you can get your license for foreign exchange earnings. You can pay your service taxes with that. That's something we've never been allowed before, and that's something which has taken a lot of effort over the years to do. So if you need some more information, please do ask us. I mean, I know my company is doing it. I know many other companies are doing it. And if you're not doing it, it's an opportunity which you're losing because it's there for you to take. We have successfully convinced MOT and implemented already in Germany, UK and China permanent PR companies for India tourism. This has never been done before. Shortlisting has also been done for representative offices in various countries. We all know that some of our international tourism offices are sitting empty, and it's a shame. Unfortunately, the problem is not in the Ministry of Tourism. It is stuck in the PMO's office. We're all working on that. But we have made some headway to have 3 permanent companies in 3 major key markets. This is, again, something that Ministry has never ever done before. We have been inviting international associations to come to India. We had United States Tour Operators Association came 2 years ago. DRV came, SITE came. DRV is planning to be, the Germans are planning to bring the global conference to India. And that's important for the visibility of all of us. We did, for the first time in history of any Indian Travel Association, a message a day to the Prime Minister. And it was very heartening to see all the responses that came in. And it did have a result. We did have the ministry very nervous. We did have them asking, who did this? Why have you done this? If you had a problem, please let us know. And I said, we have been speaking for the past 2 years. That resulted in the meeting at the Ashok Hotel on that Thursday of the week, in which the ministry sat for about 2.5 hours with us and they took notes. Now, we are chasing them up. We're going to ask them that you need to give us a report card. What have you done? But that's one form of action. If you, the members, support us in taking drastic and aggressive steps, we will take it. We have no problem, but you need to be our back and walk with us when we do that. We have held a number of chapter meetings across the country. What again was brought up that we are a very Delhi-centric association, which is not true. About 25% of our members are from outside Delhi NCR. It's not our fault that most of you live in Delhi. A lot of the business started in Delhi. But we created 4 regional chairmen across the country so that they will supervise the chapters in the regions, for them to liaison with the regional state governments, for them to act. And we intend to strengthen these chapters. We also empowered all the chapters with a budget to spend. So some chapters use that money to do meetings, to do events. Some did not. Going forward, we are going to require all chapters to give us a plan to spend the money. We want them to be active. And this is something that was never done before in these last 2 years. The National Tourism Helpline, which was inaugurated recently, was the idea of IATO at 6:30 in the evening, December 31st of 2012. Parvez, the one, called us. It took the ministry that long to do it, but it was something that we gave them. We've also been a very strong part of Ministry of Tourism selecting world-class IT companies to do their website and to do their social media. I do want to tell all of you is that the transparency process in the ministries appointing companies like this is quite strong. IATO has been sitting there, I and Ravi. We sat for 2 whole days, about 10 hours each day in the ministry with the Secretary of Tourism, with the Joint Secretary, having interviews with all these companies, and we are very, very delighted with the quality they've got in. And I think you will see a game changer in the way the world looks at Indian tourism when these companies go live. We've been doing FAM tours across the country for our members, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, to name a few. There's been a question of licensing, and this is something which came up in the Commonwealth Games. We got it delayed, but we've been doing a lot of negotiation, and Delhi government has accepted that the Ministry of Tourism recognition is sufficient for them to give us approval. They still need the paperwork, but the paperwork took literally 15 minutes for most of our members. So if you are being challenged, just let us know, because there's obviously a communication gap between the person coming to you and what the reality is. We had the professional audiovisual made that we launched at the Indoor Convention. First time any association has created an AV tool that's neutral, that's beyond the government, that we can use. Sanjeev Joshi led that entire initiative, and it's a really, really nice